Firstly, I would like to say that my wife and I are not people who complain unless we feel it is warranted, and also that the general experiences we have had with the NHS have been commendable in the last few years. However, our most recent experience with the paramedic is one that I feel has to be shared, as his behaviour was unacceptable. This is an account of what happened, although the wording and timings won't be exact, but should give you a flavour for our experience. On Tuesday late afternoon, my son, who's 8 years old, hurt his leg playing football and was in a lot of pain and stayed on the floor until the paramedics came. The paramedic arrived and walked over to my son, and right from the start was very casual. He said, "So, a football injury, hey? Let's get this blanket off," and then swiftly pulled the blanket off his feet, not checking that the blanket was wrapped around his leg or anything like that. Then he went straight to his good leg and touched his shin in a few places, and said he would now do the same to the bad one to see how it was. He then very briefly examined his bad leg for no more than a minute, and then said that he thought it was fine, just badly bruised. He then stood up and said, "Come on, up you get, and let's fill in the paperwork in the house." At that point he went back to his car and left us trying to support our son, who was in agony. Our son could not put any pressure on his bad leg and was solely dependent on me and my wife helping him, and he had to keep stopping every few steps as he was in such pain. Then the paramedic came over and said he was 99% sure it wasn't broken bone, as a break usually breaks the front and rear bone in the leg, and that the rear bone was fine. He did some obs on my son and then said he has never seen one where the front bone was broken but the rear one wasn't. My wife and I expressed that he did seem in a lot of pain, and the paramedic reluctantly said that he could write us something if we did decide to take him for an X-ray at a later date. We said yes please, so the paramedic then filled in the form and left. Summarising our complaint, he was completely unempathetic. He did nothing to make my son feel comfortable, reassured, or that he would be looked after. In fact, the complete opposite. "It's just bruised, come on, up you get," etc., which made my son feel distressed and worried. He was completely unempathetic to us, made my wife feel like she had completely wasted their time by calling the ambulance service, which made us feel even worse. The paramedic was very rushed and he took no time to understand the patient or ask him or us any questions or understand how our son would usually react to pain. He made no time to see how he reacted when he started to walk back to the house, and he didn't see how he responded to the pain of us moving him, and so on. He did not want to fill in a form, and we had to ask him to do this, which we felt awkward doing as we had already been made to feel like we were fakes and that we had wasted his time. He was clearly in a rush, and he was totally uninterested and dismissive and extremely casual throughout the whole encounter. We feel that there is no excuse for his manner, with no patient or carer empathy, and we found him almost rude in this respect. In our opinion, the paramedic did the bare minimum, and it felt to us like he wanted to get away as quickly as possible and that we'd wasted his time. We appreciate that paramedics are not going to make the right diagnosis every time, and that is not the basis for our complaint. It is his manner that myself, my wife and my sister all observed, and we all agreed was wholly unacceptable. Incidentally, my wife took my son to the hospital yesterday morning, and they confirmed that he has broken his leg, and his leg is now in a cast. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing your response, and I hope that others do not get a similar experience to us.